right. Hi, everybody. Guess who we have here today? We've got Sara Korytowski. I hope I said that right. And we really need you right now, Sara, because we just got through the holidays. It is, where we're all feeling a little bloated on the bloated side. And it's the perfect time. I know, some people have given up on the New Year's resolutions thing. Some people still do it. But here on BoomX Beauty Beat, my name is Laura again, if anybody hasn't watched yet before. And we're a beauty, basically for mature women. We work with beauty, lifestyle, and self-help. And this kind of includes all three. We're going to talk about online fitness and what that is. And you're a coach, you're a trainer. And I love reading about your journey of how you got there. Now, you're a busy mom. You have 3 kids. You've got a husband. You've got a house. You've got everything going on. And your kids are adorable, by the way. I saw their pictures.
Oh, thank you.
And
that's in their good moments.
Yeah, I just think it's, well, I know what you're going to have those moments, right?
Yes.
But, I want to just start with your decision to take this journey, because so many women, think about it more than they do it. They just think about it all the time, and more they do it a little bit and then they stop. Can you just walk me through what your beginnings were like and how that all began for you?
Yeah, absolutely. One thing I just want to say, though, from your introduction, is I am a coach, but I'm not a trainer per se, in the sense of people mix them up sometimes. So just so that people know that.
Thanks for clarifying. I didn't have that clarity. So what is it?
We'll get more into that.
Yeah. So, you can.
A coach, I'm more of a motivational and guidance and that sort of thing, as opposed to a trainer who actually works with you and, does a workout with you and trains you and, corrects you and that kind of thing, as if you went to a gym with a trainer. So, but we can get more into that as we get along. So
yeah, for sure. Like my first, when I watch The Housewives, that's my guilty pleasure. And there's a housewife on there that calls herself an accountability coach. And as soon as she said that, her business went crazy, because I think, so many women have a difficult time with accountability, and we'll get into that as well. But
that's essentially what this is. It's motivation, accountability, support.
Mm-hmm.
Along with the tools, but like you said, we'll get more into that. So
yes. So
my journey.
How did this begin for you? I saw your before pictures and your after, which is insane. Your arms, by the way, wow, holy moly!
Thank you.
So tell me,
I should have worn a sleeveless top. And
then... you can see it still. Us women, we can beeline right in on the arms. So what was happening in your mind when you were feeling lousy and you hadn't got started yet?
Okay, so I'll back up even a little before my journey sort of started, which is I think a lot of people who meet me now or see me online now think, oh, but she's always been into health and fitness, and that's, because I have friends who were athletic as teenagers, that sort of thing. No, not me. I was the kid who made excuses to get out of gym class, and who, I still remember, when gym in high school, they'd make you run around the block kind of thing. You'd always do laps. And I'd be like, my asthma, No, I didn't have diagnosed asthma. I couldn't breathe because I didn't exercise. That's probably what it was. So my cardio sucked. But I, of course, typical kind of girl body image issues, I toyed with and did different things over the years. I'd get really into working out, and for a little bit, there was a period of time I went swimming a lot, and I did this and I did that. This is for mature women. So I had the Thigh Master from Suzanne, if you remember Suzanne.
I totally remember that.
So I had the Thigh Master. I went in all the teen magazines, and I'd buy the diets or the various things. Anyway, but I never really stuck with anything. So fast forward, and I had kids, and between my first, who's now almost 9, and my second, who's 6.5, I have a third, a stepdaughter, but she didn't affect my body. So we'll skip over that. But between the two of those, I did do a lot of exercise. I went to a fitness place. I went to a mom and baby thing, and we did that. And I lost a fair bit of weight. Then I got pregnant again.
Yeah.
And then, of course, and I went to go back to work after my mat leave with my son, and none of my work clothes fit. And I was exercising a lot. And I was devastated because I pretty much had to go in maternity work clothes because I didn't want to buy new pants. I was like, I'm not buying anything new because mine will fit me eventually. So right. I wore maternity clothes essentially for a little bit. But what happened was I was like, but I'm exercising. So what's going on here?
Yeah.
And I realized it must be nutrition because I couldn't exercise more, not realistically. And so I reached out in a mom's group and I'm like, anyone here a nutritionist? And someone responded to me and said, have you ever tried this program, which is something that I eventually did. And I was like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. And I started doing that. I joined her online group and I got support. And I at first did not try that program, actually. I was like, no, I don't want to pay for anything new. I'm already paying for stuff. I don't want to pay for something else that's going to be another thing I'm going to try.
Yeah.
And is not going to help me. And then I'm going to then waste my money on it and give up. Like, enough. Exactly. I'm done.
Yeah.
But I joined her group and I saw other people having success and feeling good. And that was the main thing. Yes, they lost weight, but they seemed to just feel good and they had energy and all this stuff. And I was like, okay, what are they doing? And so I eventually tried it and tried the workouts and the nutrition and all the other stuff that goes with it. And I lost weight and I no longer felt like at work where I had to go and get that like afternoon chocolate or all that kind of thing to keep me going. Yeah. Not that I wasn't ever tired because I still had a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old at home. But I didn't, sorry.
That's okay.
Something was vibrating. A phone.
Yeah, everyone at home's like, what?
A phone, I promise.
What program is this? No.
But I felt like I had more energy and I just felt better about myself. And I couldn't stop raving about it to everybody. I was like, oh my God, I've got to do this. This is so awesome. And so the woman who I joined with eventually said, have you ever considered like coaching? You're kind of already doing that. And so that's how I eventually got into doing what I'm doing now. And
how long did it take you from the time, I'm interrupting you. Sorry about that. How long did it take you from the time you said, okay, I'm going to do this program to where you were feeling like, I look pretty good. I feel great. And you're encouraging other women. How long did that take you?
You know what? It was, it's hard to say. It's within a couple weeks. One of the things I do as part of this whole, we call it a total solution, is superfood shakes. And from when I started the nutrition component, like really a full program, not just like little, okay, I'll reduce my carbs or all, not the little piecemeal trying stuff, but like following up the program. Within a few weeks, I really did notice a difference. It's not like I lost 30 pounds. That's ridiculous. Like, and not healthy. Don't do that. But I did notice within a few weeks feeling better and started talking about it to friends.
Yes.
And then within a few months, I really did. And then, of course, your goals and your ideas of what is like my goals now for what I want for my body, for my life, for my business are not at all what my goals were when I started. I wanted to lose a little bit of weight and fit into my work clothes. Yeah. That's basically all I wanted.
You took your little goalpost and just kept going.
Yeah.
With
it keeps changing. Yeah. Like, you mentioned my arms or whatever, right? Like that's not what I wasn't looking to have guns or to be able to do 50 push-ups on my toes or like that was not what I was thinking. Right. Yeah. But now on those days, because I still have those days, I'm still like 45 years old, and you have those days you look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, oh, like I feel bloated and gross and whatever, and I'll just be like, and I like look at myself with my arm in the mirror, I'll like flex, like, I'm okay, it's okay.
Yeah. Not so bad.
No, it's okay, I'm okay.
Yeah.
You have different, you change your perspective a little bit. So
Yeah.
So that's basically how I got into it all, the
Right.
basic journey. And one thing I should say was that I don't know how I glossed over this, but that one of the problems I often had, as I know many moms do, whether you have, mine were very little when I got started, but even now, is realizing that, like I said at the beginning, of how I couldn't exercise more, but it was also that when I could fit it in, because the place that I was going to at the time, which was sort of classes/gym place, they didn't open until, I can't remember what time it was, like 7 a.m. or something. But I commuted, not right now because of COVID, but normally I commute downtown to work, and I have to leave my house at 7:15. There was no way that I could get to a gym. Okay, there is a way. There's always a way. There was no realistic way that I could get to a gym.
Right.
And then in the evenings, my kids would be like, Mommy, I want you to put me to bed or whatever. And so I would, and even now, my son, who still wants Mummy all the time, and I don't mind sometimes missing that. Sometimes it's nice. Oh no, I gotta go. I have a meeting. I can't put you to bed tonight. It's a nice break. But there's still that mom guilt that you want to be there. And so the beauty of all of this was that it's all online. And so, and now of course with COVID, that's even more important. Right. It's all online. Any supplements you get, the shakes, they're delivered to your house. You don't have to go anywhere. So for me at the time, it meant that it was flexible. I had many times where more with my daughter, when I was going to the mom and baby classes and stuff, where we'd be going, and then it was like, my kids both had reflux. They'd like throw up all over me or something. And I was about to, and now I missed the class, like, or I'm going to be 15 minutes late. What's the point? Like, there's no point in going. Or now it would be one of them throwing a tantrum and don't want to leave the house, or, worrying about your partner's schedule to be able to stay with the kids so you can go to the gym without them, that sort of thing, or whether your gym has childcare or, that kind of thing. And of course, even 9-year-olds throw tantrums. So, being able to actually leave the house, and, you have so much time. So then I realized I do it at home. I get up in the morning, I do my workout before work.
Wow.
My kids are here. And before, when they were younger, because my son was very little, I would just plop them down. It was nice when they couldn't move so much. You can stick them somewhere and they're now they move around. Now it's different. But even now, I let them go on their iPads or something, and they'll come, Mommy, this isn't working. And I was like, well, this morning, actually, my daughter needed something. She's almost 9. Needed something, and from a 9-year-old's perspective, needed, and came down, and I was doing whatever. I said, okay, well, I have about a minute and a half of this set till I have a 30-second break. So you'll have to wait till my break. Yeah. And when I get to my 30-second break, then I'll like enter the code in your iPad or whatever. You know what, though, Sarah? They're learning so much from you just by watching you do this, because they're learning to take care of themselves. They're learning to make themselves a priority. They're learning patience. They're watching actually how you move your body. Look at all the good things that you're teaching them from doing those exercises in the morning. Like and they learn so much by watching more than you telling. So absolutely. I think that you're doing just amazing with that, for sure. So, so continue. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. No, it's okay. It's okay. You're Italian. I come from a Jewish background. We're the same. It's okay. Jump in and all these times. I know. I get it. It drives my husband nuts. We're from the same background, but it drives him nuts, but I do the same thing. It's okay. Yeah, and you're right with the, I love, and that became one of my things. It wasn't necessarily my reasons initially. But I grew up with a mom who was always dieting. Yeah. Not in a horrible, negative way. She never had any, bulimia or anything like that, but she was always dieting. I mean, typical 80s, right. Zero fat, low fat, everything. That's right. Right? Lots of Special K and yogurt eaten in our house. That kind of thing. Fish, and liver. Yeah. And, she was always dieting. And I still remember there being times when my brother, who was athletic and skinny, just typical sort of little boy, but he, we'd buy cookies or something, and I remember, I very distinctly, nothing against my mom. She thought she was doing the right thing, but I remember going to eat something, chocolate chip cookies. And she's like, do you need that? Like, do you really need that? And I was like, no, I don't need it. I want it. Like, it was like, I was a teenager.
Oh, I know. It's
right?
just, it's that worst feeling when you get that comment. My aunt did that to me too, because I was always chubby and they were having pasta at dinner time, and I'm all excited. When you're 8 or 9, you're not thinking too much about, but I was already chubby. She's like, you don't need any of this. I know, it's terrible.
Yeah. So I realized, and this wasn't, like I said, it's not the reason I got into it, but as I started seeing more of it, and of course, once you get into all this, you get into more mindset and reading personal development books. And I became part of a team where you'd hear people talking about other things. And it made me realize I don't want my kids growing up with that, seeing that.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I still talk about eating healthy, but I talk about eating healthy in terms of balance and in terms of feeling good,
right,
and having energy and fueling your body. And so when my kids see me exercising, they don't see me, yes, I still have those thoughts that lots of us women do, and I'd love to say I've gotten rid of them all, but I haven't. But I'm very careful to never say anything like that out loud around my kids,
because it does stick with you. It sticks with you, even
it does, and you see it, right? And so when they see me exercising, they see that you can do it. And there was actually one time where I was struggling with something. I was doing I did something and I finished, and then I thought I was done that section of the workout, and the trainer goes, only 2 more rounds. And I was like, I was like, my daughter was there, and I was like, oh my God, oh my God, really? Oh my God, there's more. Like, I was like, oh my God. And she goes, Mommy, you can just stop. Like, if it's too much, like you can stop, Mommy, and I said, yeah, honey, I could stop, but because I was like, oh my God, I don't think I can do it. She said, then you can stop. And I said, no, honey, I won't stop. I said, because I could, but I may feel like I can't do anymore, but I know I can. And so, and even though it might be hard, you don't stop because something's hard. You don't get better if you stop when it feels hard. And so that was one of those awesome times where I'm like, that's what I want her to learn. Right. And so that became a lot of my why, was not just to lose the weight, which was the starting point. Right. And still is a large thing, but it's more setting that example and showing them. And they both love doing push-ups. They don't do them very well, but
so cute though.
But they look like they're in downward dog or something, like, I don't know what they're doing, but they like the idea of them. But, and so that to me is the setting that example. So that's how I got into, and it all just kind of morphs, right, and expands. And
that's great. So then now you've got my curiosity right on up about this community and what you're getting into. So what are women going to get into when they contact you? Like, what is it that you can you sort of explain about those? So
there's a couple of components. A large part of what I do is this group coaching. We use online. Sorry, I'm fiddling with my hair. I can see myself. I should minimize
I love your hair.
I should minimize myself so I don't see myself. But is that I am minimizing myself so that I don't. It's not like I'm looking in the mirror. Distracting when you see your own image. So what the base is that you sign up and you get access to online workouts and nutrition. And there's over 85 different programs on there right now. I work with Beachbody, and so that's who I'm affiliated with. And so they are those programs. It's all programs that are designed by professionals. A whole team, actually, not like one trainer, but a team of professionals. They have, and same with the nutrition, an entire team creating these plans. So that's what you get online. Those are the basics, and and there's a ton of resources, in terms of recipes, and there's a cooking show, and there's, all these different things. So healthy versions of things that you would already like to make. And for all different tastes. So of course, we don't all like the same food.
Right.
Right.
Totally.
So something you like, I might hate, so, and just because of taste. So that's the basic of the tools. Those are the tools we use.
Okay.
But really what makes it work, and what I fell in love with, what got me to want to be a coach, not just to do it for myself, was a community. And so
Yes.
when you sign up, you get a coach. So in this case, me, who's there to be your cheerleader, your support, a bit of a kick in the ass sometimes, if that's what you need, depending on the person, right? Different people react differently. And I have an online community.
Okay.
So we don't do it through Facebook right now. We're doing it through a separate app. And that's partly because Facebook can be distracting.
Yes.
And some people aren't on Facebook and don't want to be on Facebook. So this is a completely separate thing that we use. And it's a community where we help to support each other. Like with so many other things, you get out as much as you put in. And
right,
so it's for you to share, it's for accountability and support, and guidance. So we deal with, most people start something like this because they want to feel better, they want to lose weight. And I think what a lot of people are realizing now is that as much or more of it comes from your mind as comes from your body. And so really the component that is often missing for people is that accountability and support and motivation to keep you doing it. And I know there've been times, still are times now, doesn't matter if you're a coach, you still have those mornings you just don't feel like it, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I don't wanna. When I go in and I see someone else has posted their workout, and I'm like, okay, yeah,
gotta get going.
Yeah, I can do it. They did it, I can do it. And there was a time, I remember a couple years ago, where someone posted in a community that I was in, and she's in Alberta, so she's a little further ahead time-wise.
Yeah.
And she's a mom, a working mom, because I still work full-time as well. She's a working mom with little kids, similar ages to mine. And I was like, okay, she did it. And she had barely slept. One of her kids had been sick that night or something. And she still got up and did it. And I was like, okay, I can do it, So that is a large part of where it comes from. And then, we have a team. So one of the things you can do with this is you can, of course, also decide you want to also coach. And that brings with it a whole other level of support and encouragement because we have a team.
So just budget wise, because women are going to think, this is something I can't afford. Is there like a range that you can give us an idea between this and this per month that you might have to think about for an investment so that people have an idea, so that they're not afraid to even open the door?
Absolutely. There are a lot of different options. And it really depends on the person and their needs. One of the things that I've recently added on, which can be an add-on or separate, is because our tools aren't available every country in the world yet. So there are places you can't do it, or for other reasons, but is one-on-one coaching as well is another thing that I do. And that's more of the helping you figure out strategies and how to reach your goals and, all that kind of thing. And that's just more intensive. It's similar stuff that we do in the group, but it's more intensive one-on-one. So, like I said, there's a real range. So it could go from a typical startup package, which gives you a full year of the workouts and the nutrition and all of that stuff, and a month of some supplements to help you get started on it. We're in Canada, so we'll talk Canadian.
Yeah.
If you're watching from somewhere else, it might be different for us. Yeah. We're going to talk Canadian dollars here.
Yeah.
So less than $200.
Okay.
To get started. There are things that you can do where you do just the workouts and not some of the other stuff. And then that can be even less.
Okay. So, it's doable. It's doable.
It's totally doable. And then and that gives you the full year of the workouts, only a month the supplements, which we recommend. And I always recommend people try them for at least 3 months, because a month doesn't really give you a full idea. And so there's a recurring cost, obviously, for those supplements, but it's very reasonable. It works out to basically maybe $5 a day for sort of a meal, essentially, right? And so, and that gives you nutrients that you're not getting. No matter how healthy you eat, you are not getting all these nutrients. So yes, there's obviously bigger packages that can give you some more things as well, add-ons for other stuff. But for under $200, you can get started and get all the tools you need.
And I mean, I'm paying way more than that per month to work with my naturopath. Like, it can be so expensive, but I have some like health issues and stuff. So I definitely, you know, when I'm hearing that number, to me, it's like it'd be so much less than what I'm paying right now to have to, you know, to go and see her and have her deal with all this stuff. So can you give us an idea what kind of exercises you do?
Well, I can try. People can go to my Facebook page or my Instagram, and I post videos every day. So you would definitely, in my stories, you'll see stuff to get an idea. But like I said, there's over 85 different programs. So there really is something for everybody. My favorites are really the sort of high intensity HIIT training. So high intensity interval training. And it's a combination of weights, cardio, weights and cardio and stretching and things like that. And so I'm starting a new program on next Monday, and it has some other equipment and doing different stuff. But all of these programs are a combination of different things. So it's not like when sometimes you're like bored. I know I used to say, oh, I can do my own workouts. I don't need to pay for these. I can just create it myself or go on YouTube and find stuff. But you find you're doing the same stuff over and over again.
Yeah.
And so we have programs that are dance-based. So for anyone out there who loves dancing and would rather just dance for exercise, but they're done in a way to give you, especially as women and especially as mature women, resistance training strength and resistance training is extremely important for our bone health and the rest of us. And a lot of times people, I think, women especially, think it's all about cardio. I'm going to do aerobics. I'm going to go running and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And that's where it's at. And we forget a lot of times about muscle strength training. And really, for your bones, it's important. And resistance training can be with weights or it can be body weight. It doesn't have to be. There are programs, we have several programs that use no equipment whatsoever, but you still get that muscle resistance training. And then we have others that use dumbbells and things like that. All of it can be done in your house. You don't need a big space. And, but the other factor, aside from just bone health and all of that, is no matter what you do, no matter what weight you lose, if you want to reshape your body, that's done with muscles and toning your muscles. That's what shapes your body and changes the shape of your body, not just losing weight. So, because I know people who've lost a ton of weight, and people see me I've talked with people I'm like, well, you're so thin, but they're like, yeah, but I'm jiggly. Right? Because size doesn't make you firm. Right. And that's what we all really want. So, there's a lot of the stuff is the typical things you'd think, right? It's squats and lunges and push-ups and various things. One of the really important things, but they do it in it's the way it's all put together, makes it more fun. And the new programs that we've got now for the past couple of years are all done in this format where if it's like a 6-week program, that's 5 days a week, let's say, there's whatever that is, 5 times 6, like 30 different workouts. It's not that you do the same one over and over and over again. Every single day is different.
Do they have programs within then that can cater towards people with some, different, there's a lot of people with back pain or fibromyalgia or, older people? There's
not necessarily, the programs aren't necessarily geared specifically necessarily towards conditions, but there's a couple of things. One, there are programs that are specifically designed to be low or no impact. And so for people who can't jump or things of that nature, every single program with the exception of maybe one that's a majorly intense high-end program,
Yeah.
have a modifier. So
Okay.
every program has someone showing you modifications for every move. So the one I'm doing right now, which I'm almost finished, is called is a mixed martial arts inspired. So a lot
Mm.
of punching and jabbing and things like that. And there'll be cardio spikes
Mm-hmm.
where you're doing a jump,
Yeah.
and they'll say, okay, for those of you who need to modify, just go up on your toes
Right.
instead
Okay,
of
good.
jumping, that kind of
Okay.
thing. There are some programs that are one program that's a bar. A lot of people are into bar right now, and bar
Yeah.
can be really expensive. Not to mention that we can't really do bar right now because of COVID. You can't
Like a
like not.
ballet bar kind of
Yeah,
thing?
the bar designed programs. It sort of mixes of Pilates and ballet and that kind of
Yeah.
thing. And there's a program like that, and that is zero impact. It's
Mm.
all, and it's very focused on your core and stretching and all of that. And so that's another thing that helps people with injuries is you really need to focus on those things. And so that's what it is basically. When I talk to someone, if they have certain concerns because of injuries, is to figure out a program that's right for them, which could be low impact. Some people don't want to buy equipment right now, so you pick one of the no equipment programs, and you just make sure they know to follow the modifier. And I've known people who modify the modification,
Wow.
right? So
Yeah.
you can't do certain moves. I've got a woman on my team right now who's young but was diagnosed with MS. So she's
Mm-hmm.
having issues where sometimes her legs just don't do what they're
Yeah.
not cooperating, and so she just makes do. You kind of one of the trainers, I can't remember who it was who said this, is that if you need to change this move, if you can't do it as it's shown, just keep moving.
Yeah, exactly.
March on the spot, do whatever. You
Mm-hmm.
just keep going, keep your heart rate up, do something that you can make work for you. There are and one of the other things is there's some maternity and post um,
Mm.
baby things, and some of those are really good for people who have injuries, back injuries, because they're modified for if you're pre or post
For,
natal,
for
you have
sure.
to do things differently, right? So those can work
Sounds
for
like there's
people as
just a
well.
bit of everything. Is there yoga Pilates style as well
Oh
or
yeah,
no?
there's
Yeah. Okay.
there's yoga. There's a program that I love that's a mixture of yoga and Pilates.
Mm.
There's tons of yoga on there. There's now meditation on there as well.
Yeah.
There really is something for everybody.
That's great. My daughter was just saying this to me on the phone like last week. She was saying, "Mom, she's had a couple little injuries. She loves yoga, but
Mhm.
she says, but my problem is I accountability."
Yeah,
And exactly what you're saying about the accountability, I keep not making myself accountable. And I just suggested to her that you might need it. She goes, I think I have to pay somebody. I got to get a coach.
Mhm.
And so she would be like the perfect example. And she's super into hiking and athletic, but really wants to keep it up and take it to the next level. And you can't always get to the mountains and hike when you're
Yeah.
having to go to work double shifts and stuff like that. So for COVID, for moms, for working, this is like ideal. And I think it's an isolated thing being in your home, and having a community is it's incredibly beneficial. How often do you kind of tune into these the clients you have? How often do you kind of chat with them and coach them along? How does that work?
It kind of depends on the person.
Yeah.
Some people don't want much, and some people
Right.
need daily. So we check in with the groups every
Okay.
day. So
Okay.
you get into your group, and I have a couple of coaches on my team who also go in there. So there's a
Hmm.
few of us who are helping to support each other. And then I check in with people, either once a week or a couple times a month or whatever it is, if someone's having certain, and I'm always available for
Yeah.
anyone to reach out to me. So, like I said, it kind of depends on the person. There are some
Mm.
people who really need a lot more
Right.
account, a lot more intensive accountability. And
Yeah.
for those people, then I encourage them to do the one-on-one coaching with me.
Yes.
But if for the average person who just needs that, checking in and sometimes just knowing that someone's expecting to see you post, and that if you don't check in, they're going to notice.
Yeah.
I know for me, that's often been enough to be like, okay, I better get in there and do that. So, but yeah, it varies. And that's one of the things that I talk about with people at the beginning is
Yeah.
what what level, and we figure that out together, works
Yeah. And
for them.
you have a website. It's sarafit.com, right?
Sarah K Fit.
Sarah K. Whoops.
Sarah K Fit. Yeah.
I'll make sure that I include that in the description box below. And do you work only with women? If a man, I mean, mostly we have women on this channel, but you never know. Like if you get,
I really work. My group is only for women.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And that's because the women want it that way.
Yeah, I like working out just with women. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, we often post before and after pictures or progress pictures, and people post their workout things in their like bra and whatever, and so they kind of want that. Yeah. That knowing it's just women. Yeah. But yes, if a man wanted, we'd have to figure it out a different way. Obviously, couldn't be part of the group, but it could be done. And I know often it's like the spouse of of someone else. Exactly. I know a lot of women who started and their husbands start then doing the workouts. Yeah. But so yes, it is possible, but it's just a little different. I primarily work with women. Yeah, which is kind of a relief, I think. I like when it's just women in the group. But, you know, I remember the old days when we went to Weight Watchers and all that. It would be like 95, but then there'd be like 2 men in there. Yeah. And they'd get all the special attention because they were the only guys in the group. But it you know, for working out purposes, like you said, some of the outfits you have to wear just to get by, you just like a little, you know. Yeah. And you don't have to share those. I mean, how much you share and how, like, some people are more comfortable than others. Yeah. Sharing photos and stuff. But so it's to everybody's comfort level. But yes, that's how it works. So basically, in my thinking, if you're feeling, you know, a little isolated, and most of us are right now, if you feel isolated, if you need to join a great group of women and join into an organization that helps you along. This is an ideal situation because you not only have Sarah, but you also have this other, you know, huge arrangement where you can find whatever you need. So I think this has been like just amazing, and doesn't matter where you're starting from. You know, with me, I had insulin resistance, and one thing I just want to mention this because I might get some women on here frustrated because they've worked out, they've taking supplements, they're doing everything, but they can't lose anything. Berberine has been my I don't know why, but it reacted so well with me. And I've like doing exercise and diet every day, but I couldn't lose a pound for 2 years, like would not, no matter what I did, no matter what. And berberine, because I had like maybe bad bacteria or something going on in there, really, really, really helped. So just for any women out there who are going to try, and I tried tons of supplements as well, nothing worked. Berberine has been a saving grace for me, and I've been able to take off like 8 pounds this month. So it's great. Just I don't know. I don't understand. Like I have a metabolic disorder and stuff. So where there's a will, there's a way. Just when I thought there was no answers out there, there's always answers. And sometimes also and that's fantastic that that's worked for you. I know that I've had some issues too. I'm at that perimenopausal sort of stage. Hormones change, and I don't always see a big change. Yes. And that's where having these groups and doing a fitness program where you're not just focusing on the weight. That's right. But the fact that like one of my clients in there, she's going through a program a second time, and she posted how, you know, she's now able to do the planks on her toes instead of doing them on her knees. Those are big deals. Right? Like she's stronger and she feels like she's doing better. So yes, she has lost some weight, but those are the things that she is the proudest of and make her feel like she's accomplishing something. So even if you don't lose weight, the fact that you're able to now do a push-up on your toes instead of on your knees, or you're able to increase your weights from 5 pounds to 8 pounds. Yeah. Those all make you feel good regardless of whether, I'm not a big fan of the scale. So regardless of whether you're seeing numbers change. Yes. Those are all accomplishments. And that's part of what all of this helps with, is just flipping the frame of mind a little bit and having a slightly different perspective. And that's one of the things we try to help people with, that it's not just about numbers. So. Oh, this has been great. If this didn't motivate somebody out there, I don't know what will. I can't thank you enough for being here, Sarah. And just hang on. I'll say goodbye to everyone else. So hang on for a sec before. And thanks so much for having me.
Yes, it would have been such a pleasure, and I will link everything below. You guys reach out to Sara. She's an awesome person. She's super fun to talk to, and what a great person to have on your side to get you through this journey and have a new friend in your corner. So thanks again, Sara. Take care.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.